financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is Brian Small. How are you?
The topic is me?
Oh, you know, sometimes you have such a presence that it just stops me cold in my tracks for my thought process. Today's topic is debt resolution, eliminating credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. And now that we've said hello, I can skip you. Pat Simasco, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, we had exciting before we started. We should have a talk on how to get rid of the COVID 30 pounds that you put on. Not you guys, of course, but me.
Jeffrey Linden, we can have that talk.
We don't have all day, Ken.
Good morning, Ken.
How are you? Jeffrey, you're down there.
I feel different. I feel dislocated. I feel like I'm in a new space.
You have the whole corner of that
You look
table. You
good.
should enjoy it.
You look good. You look darn good.
All right, so the topic today is debt resolution, eliminating credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. And I want to start out with the credit card trap. And let's talk about credit card debt. Harvard Business Review: 4 behaviors that can land you in a credit card. December 2021. What's interesting about this is a recent survey shows 41% of Gen Z feel uncomfortable talking about their credit card debt.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Let's not talk about it.
Wait,
So-
I want to know what a Gen Z
I
is.
like that, Jeffrey. That's nice.
What's a Gen Z?
A Gen Z is what comes after a millennial, which came after a Gen X. So Gen Zs must be young people.
I think I'm a Gen X.
I'm the last baby boomer.
I'm a baby boomer.
I'm the last, literally the last one.
Yeah, I'm at 54.
I
What
thought you
were
were
you?
part of the silent.
64.
I thought you were part of the silent generation.
You've never really thought of me as silent before.
Never.
Brian's certainly not part of the silent generation.
Well, this is important, though.
We brought an interesting up. People don't like to talk about their credit card debt. They never like to talk about the bad side of their finances. You can always sense it if you're even among friends. All of a sudden, one person sometimes goes quiet.
Well, it's the expression, people don't like to talk about their dirty laundry, so to speak. They no matter what's going on, and even when people come in to see us and they know that they have a problem, and they're physically coming in to talk about their problem, they still don't like to give all the information because they're embarrassed.
Right.
They're struggling with finding a solution,
And they're insecure.
and these are
Let me tell you a short story. This is in the 80s when the market was doing well, and I had one friend that was always talking about how much money he was making in the market. And I was basically taking my extra disposable income and buying Mets for my children for college. So it was that was
Mets or meth?
the Michigan Education Trust.
Mets. That was
We
hitting
love
me,
Mets.
That was
We bought
hitting me
Mets.
for a lot of money a month for 2 kids, and that was a struggle to do it. But there was no, and I would just listen to him talk about how the market's going great, and I'd kind of grind my teeth and say, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. I didn't say, well, I'm doing the Met. I just took it in and didn't have any comments. And then at the end of that period in the 80s, the market collapsed for a while, and he got hit bad on the decline, and all of a sudden my Met investment became a great thing because my kids' college was paid for. So you just never know how those things work out. But I remember that same feeling, because when he was talking about it, I was thinking, oh, Ken, you're a loser. You're not making all this. You're not making 20% on your money. You're doing this little conservative thing for college. This guy's probably already paid for his kid's college 4 times along. So I just kept my mouth shut and kind of concentrated on my bowling a little bit while, because I think that's where the conversation was occurring. But so people have that
Yeah,
that anxiety.
they do.
And it's understandable. Credit card debt is on the rise. February, Fortune.com. Binging on credit card debt, it grew at the fastest pace in 22 years. During the last 3 months of 2021, balances went up by 52 billion. 52 billion. What do you make of that, Brian?
I make of the fact that free money from the government stopped coming in. The unemployment compensation was terminated. All of those things, and we weren't back to normal employment, so people started to live on their credit cards again.
Or, even though they still may have had some reserves, they may have said, I've been cooped up for a year and a half, 2 years with COVID. I'm going to buy that, but I don't want to take that last $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 I have in reserve and pay for it. I'll just charge it.
Well,
and then they'll just then they'll start making their minimum payments.
Or they're bored during COVID.
Well,
and they
remember
can't
the
get
last
out.
3 months of the year are still the biggest spending quarter of the year. You've got the holidays, and Christmas and New Year's, and people spend and vacations. People were starting to take vacations again. There was real dollars being spent.
Speaking of that, I didn't recall getting a holiday gift from you this year.
There was a holiday?
Yeah.
You know, we see in the
I gotta make a
senior,
little note about that.
with our
Brian
seniors that we
Small.
work with, is that they were working and then they retired and they're on the fixed income and they slowly build up their credit card debt. And then all of a sudden, after a few years, it's up to 20, 30,000. They never can get out of that.
20, 30.
We had a
60, 70, 80,
Well, yeah.
140.
Yeah,
We had someone
them.
came in this week with a woman retired. She's got $2,500 a month of income coming in. She had $140,000 of credit card debt, and the family was supplementing her with $7,500 a month
Yeah.
for her expenses.
Yeah.
And we said we got to get rid of the credit card debt. In this case, we put her in a bankruptcy planned over time, and then the burden on the kids, instead of them giving her $7,500 a month, goes down to $3,750
Yeah.
to cover her living
Yeah.
expenses.
Makes it work.
But they've been doing that for 5 years.
That's the problem.
Crazy.
The big thing you got to realize to get rid of it is if dad dies and all the debt's in dad's name, mom does not owe that debt. She doesn't have to pay off his
And mom's
credit
gonna
card
wanna
debt.
pay it unless
Oh
you
my,
stop
you
her.
have to rip the pen out of her hands.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about credit card debt.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Simasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Simasco Law.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. So, we kind of jumped. Yeah. The interesting thing on that quote from Harvard Business Review is the older you are, the more anxiety you have about talking about the credit card debt.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have less credit card debt. You just have, the older you are, the more private you are, is what it is. Old school versus new school.
I have an exception to that because I used to have breakfast with my father every Sunday morning at the Big Boy in Commerce Township, and the conversation was always, Dad, stop paying the credit card bills, bring them to me, we don't need to pay them, I'll get rid of them. He was making $400 a month in minimum payments with $2,100 a month coming in on Social Security.
Which
and
is actually
VA
pretty
benefits.
good income that he was getting there.
And he would say, I'll bring them next week. And next week would come and we'd have the same conversation. We had the same Sunday breakfast for like 10 years. Same exact people in the same exact booths at the restaurant. Everybody with the biggest smile on their face listening, and he was a little hard of hearing and I was a little annoyed. So the conversation always was loud as it went. But anyway, so he wasn't embarrassed about talking about it, but he kept saying, well, I said, well, when are you going to bring them? Well, I'm worried about my credit score. So where does that leave you in that situation? The guy, what do they call, Brian, the guy who always makes the minimum payment? What does the credit card industry call you?
Well, I think they call that the revolver, isn't that right?
They call it the revolver. And then what do they call the guy that pays off their credit card at the end of the month?
I know the answers, but I'm a little worried about Jeff over there. He took out the guitar again.
The guy who pays off his credit card at the end of the month
The transactor
is a transactor. So
That's
do you want to
good.
be a transactor or do you want to be a revolver?
I don't want to be a revolver. You want to be a transactor.
There we go.
We got to do that all over again.
I like that. I thought that was good. So you got rid of the stepping stone line because
I didn't get rid of it because Brian stared me down and made me nervous.
I thought I thought it was good. I thought it was, so bottom line is you want to be a transactor if you use credit cards. But whatever you are,
We really
you do
want to be
not
a
want
rock
to be.
star, though. That's why we're here. We all
You
want
don't want to be a revolver.
So practical reality. Let's
Yeah, but by the way,
translate this.
just from my own perspective,
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job, Jeff.
I thought
You
did a
have
good job.
you have two groups of people using credit cards. You have those people that allow themselves to charge and then pay the minimum monthly payment. And you have those people that utilize a credit card as a form of cash, where at the end of the month they pay off the entire balance each month.
And my wife does it that way, but she keeps track of all the bills. She knows what she spent at the end of the year for housing, for entertainment.
And actually, most of the credit card companies now will allow you to download a spreadsheet,
Right.
And it will categorize
That's
everything
what she
for
does.
you.
She loves it.
Well, but Brian, what do you call like when you're carrying your balances and you're making enough to pay it down, but then you run out of cash so that you got to use the credit card again, and the balance
called-
never actually goes down?
It's called living beyond your means.
I call it the credit card trap.
Yeah, that's the credit card trap is 100% right. The problem is that it's so easy to shift from using the card and paying it off completely to, I got to spend a little extra this month. I'll pay it off next month. I've got Junior's birthday party. I've got graduation.
Let me complicate it a little bit more, or let me put it into a little bit more reality.
Well, I'm just trying to show how you get into that first step.
If you have enough income and you have very little debt, and your income coming in every month is well and over and above your expenses, and you use credit cards, you're going to be a transactor because you're going to know why pay the interest. And it's very easy to say you want to be a transactor. I'm a transactor now. It's easy now, okay? Because I've gotten rid of the debt. I've gotten rid of the children. I've paid for the weddings. I've got all that behind me. But when I was in my 40s and 30s,
was your dad a transactor?
My
when
dad
he was
was
working?
the consummate revolver.
All his whole life.
All his life, a
Really?
revolver. Yeah.
It doesn't get to that.
And I had a bad example from that standpoint. But if you're in your 30s, in your 40s, and the kids are going to dance class and baseball school and all these other things, and you got all this overhead, and you're working trying to make out a living, it's hard to be a transactor. It's very easy to slip in to the credit card trap. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
It is easy, but the problem is that
it kills you.
It does kill you, and it kills your retirement. It kills your ability to finance your life in reality. And living within your means quite often means that you gotta step back and maybe not keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are in more credit card debt than you are.
They don't tell you.
It goes to there's a million articles about the millionaire, multi-millionaire. How did he do it? He had a modest house and he paid it off. He didn't go to the next biggest house, and he didn't have didn't live in the 8,000 square foot home, and he drove a car, paid for it, and drove it for 10 years, bought another car and drove it for 10 years. It's a way of life and a philosophy. But credit card trap.
Let me tell you our worst story. Mom, she had a $46,000 credit card debt, and her son found out because she had her head buried in the sand, and he came and said, "Oh my God, you can't do that." So he went out and got a home equity loan on Mom's house.
Worse.
Paid off the credit card.
Now the house has no equity.
Then she passed away. So not only did that, then the house has the loan on it that cannot be.
And every mortgage lender says refinance your home, pay off your credit card debt. Where the better solution is get rid of your credit card debt without using the equity in your home, so that you're preserving that one asset.
Or make sure you pass your home outside of the estate, so that the credit card company can't come back after you.
They really don't.
People need to recognize how much it costs them to carry that credit card debt. When we come back from the break, we'll illustrate that and then do a case study.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 a.m. and Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m. and on KISS 105.9 Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Live seminars are back Wednesday, April 20th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. How to make debt a thing of the past. Come and join us and learn how to switch from trying to keep pace with debt to actually saving money for your future. This will put you in a position where you have something actually to retire with. Debt elimination is a key part of the process. Special segment by Jeff Linden on how to resolve tax issues. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Then on Wednesday, May 18th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., I have a seminar, Estate Planning 101, The Absolute Essentials. Basic elements of an estate plan, documents you need while living, making sure your assets go where you want them to go, how to avoid the cost of probate, and what you need to know about probate. Attendees get a $300 gold certificate off the cost of any estate plan. Sign up for both seminars at thavgross.com or lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can also remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. We're still doing them via teleconference or live in the office, whatever your preference is. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Just sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. Also, go online for free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide for Social Security from Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasko Law, and Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Pat was recommended by a friend who insisted that we really needed a trust. And he said, I know somebody who will do a good job for you.
At Simasko Law, we deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
We had excellent service from Simasko Law. Any questions we had were addressed. Our estate is in order and it had been set up so well that nothing needed to be done. I would just highly recommend Simasko Law.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so credit card debt. What you have to realize is the cost of it. Let's say you have $60,000 in credit card debt, and it's at 20% interest. That's $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month for the interest. And you say to yourself, when you're 40, you say, oh, well, I'll get it paid off. But you don't. Well, just taking the interest alone, the $1,000 a month, 6% interest over 10 years is $162,000.
Does the required minimum payment cover the interest?
It does cover the interest.
It's designed, it does
but
cover
you're
the
forgetting, it's not, if you could just stop using the card and pay the minimum monthly payment, yes, eventually 22 to 29 years down the road, you would pay off the card. But that never happens. What happens is you pay down the card and so you pay it down 100, you charge up 110.
Because
you pay it down 100, you charge up 110.
When you write your checks to make the payments, you leave yourself $84 in your checking account till your next payday. That takes you from Friday to Monday. And then from Monday to a week from Friday, you're using the card to cover your expenses. That's the reality.
So because that is the reality, something dramatic needs to change.
All right, so let's take a look at a case study. But you guys cut me off on 10 years, it's $162,000. 20 years, it's $453,000. That's savings for retirement right there. If you can get rid of the credit card debt, your situation for retirement dramatically changes.
That's the most expensive Starbucks coffee ever.
Absolutely. Rick and Sarah, late 40s, 2 kids, they're making $130,000 a year. They got a home for $350,000 with a $250 mortgage, so there's $100 in equity. They got furnishings, $10,000 in the bank. They owed $90,000 in credit card debt. So they're not, Brian, they're not a candidate for bankruptcy, right? Here's their monthly budget. Their monthly budget, paying $22.50 a month in credit card debt, leaves them $16 plus.
So they would be a potential candidate for a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which would pay the credit card debt in full at no interest.
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years. However, and that would improve their cash flow, but the reality is that they can do so much better through debt resolution, settling the debts in a shorter period of time, ending up debt-free.
How do they do that?
Well, we stop paying the credit card. We have them stop paying the credit card bill. We start saving the minimum monthly payment. The power of the minimum monthly payment, is more than sufficient to create a war chest of money to negotiate a settlement with.
All right, so you stop paying the $22.50. We then deal with the credit card companies. We negotiate with them. If Chase is owed $30,000 on the card, we're going to negotiate and get that card settled in the range of anywhere on the low of 20%, on the high 45, 50%, depending on which card. But when you take all the cards, it usually averages out to around 35 to 38%, and you pay it out over an 18 to 24 month period.
Well, they let you make payments on the
Well,
debt.
some of the cards do let you make payments. Some of them require a lump sum. But your goal is to save. We stagger the settlements, but we also save that $22.50 a month because the client is used to doing something for a period of time, right? But there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Debt resolution allows a light at the end of the tunnel because if you said, I can get you out of debt in 18 months just doing what you're doing, by God, people are like happy to do it.
Can I ask how you guys do it within the office? Like, do you keep they come in on a quarterly basis and talk to you about it? Are you like a therapist that you meet with the clients?
Well, it's funny. We are both a attorney and counselor, and there is financial counseling that goes along with it to make sure that people understand that we want to get them to live within their means and have a future.
The most important thing is getting comfortable with the program at the beginning. The first, the anxiety. What about my credit score? What are they going to do? Are they going to come take my house away? No. If they sue you, we defend the case.
You keep your house, your credit score heals.
We negotiate to get the credit card debt done, and even though you've been making those monthly payments for the last 5 years, you're going to make them for another 18 months, not to the credit card companies, to the pot where we save the money to settle the debt, and then you're done with it.
And they're getting comfortable with the process.
Then you go 20 years and you got the $454,000 of savings in the bank because you got rid of the credit card debt. That's the important thing you need to realize. Think long term. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.